Of course, after Rachel Reeves had finished, it is the opposition parties that make their comments known. Ed Davey talked about you can't tax your way out of anything. Obvious stuff. He's an opposition party leader, of course. But it seems that star of the week is going to Kemi Badenoch, who had a cracking innings at the dispatch box, really stirring the pot on social media with her response to the Chancellor's budget. Let's have a listen to what the leader of the opposition had to say.
All we've had is wallowing in self-pity and whining about misogyny and mansplaining. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, let me explain to the Chancellor, woman to woman. People out there aren't complaining because she's female. They're complaining because she is utterly incompetent. Real equality means being held to the same standard as everyone else. It means being judged on results. Pulling no punches there. Let's speak with James Wild MP, Shadow Exchequer Secretary to the Treasury. James, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Nice to have you with us. Well, it does seem there's certainly a lot of love for your leader at the moment, with a very robust response to Rachel Reeves' budget this afternoon, even though we actually all read it an hour before. But nonetheless, give us your assessment, if you would, and I'm sure you're going to echo much of what Kemi Badenoch had to say, but what did you make of the big Reeves budget 2025?
Well, it was a strong performance for Kemi, and I think she was channeling the anger that people listening to this feel at what the Chancellor's done. Once again, she's put up taxes, £26 billion this time, due to the failure of her policies a year ago, and she's broken the promise she made not to increase the income tax threshold. She said last year that would hit working people taking money out of their pay slips, and then she didn't even apologise for breaking that promise. So what we've seen is greater taxes to fund more welfare spending. I think those are the wrong choices. We spend £1.3 trillion as a country. We can certainly make some savings. We've identified £47 billion worth, and then you wouldn't be putting up taxes, you wouldn't be stifling enterprise, and you wouldn't be hitting people in their pockets.
And nothing on cutting spending, and I think that was the bit. I mean, look, I know it's the Labour Party, and we can argue not unreasonably, you know, that's what the sort of socialist thinking would instinctively do. However, you know, she had previously given a go at reducing, in fact, it wasn't even reducing the welfare budget, it was just reducing the rate of growth of the welfare budget, and that, of course, got hounded out of town by her backbenchers. So there was no real revisiting to anything that even suggested cutting the enormous amount of money we spend on key areas, particularly welfare.
Exactly. If you're a family, you need to cut your cloth according to what's coming in. There's no sense of that with her. I think she was desperate to protect her position and keep her backbenchers on side. Increasing welfare when it's already unsustainable is simply the wrong choice, and making hard-working people pay for increased benefit spending is just not the right way to be going to it. But I think it's in Labour's DNA to take that approach, rather than looking at how can we reduce spending, get better value for money for the taxpayer. Instead, we've had that big income tax threshold tax increase, but then a whole smorgasbord of other tax rises as well, whether it's the price of alcohol duties going up, your gambling's going up, everything's going up. I did laughingly say, where's the window tax? And I was worried I'd given her a good idea.
Well, you might have done. I mean, you seem to have a chorus as well accompanying you this afternoon, James. Does that go with you wherever you go these days?
Gladly not. I think it's a few people who don't accept the EU referendum result from 2016.
Yeah, it might well be that. And I think there's a few farmers thrown in as well. Just give us a sense of the mood in the House of Commons then, because this was an extraordinary budget for many reasons. It had already leaked like an industrial sieve for about a fortnight beforehand, and then, goodness me, in something that you really couldn't write, the OBR went and released it before she'd even got in her ministerial car.
Yeah, I mean, an utter shambles. And then we had the farce of Rachel Reeves not reading out the figures that we'd all seen. Every year of the growth forecast has been downgraded now as a result of this budget, but she didn't read out those figures, funnily enough. Inflation's going to be higher, unemployment is going to be higher. All the indicators you want to see are going in the wrong direction. We need to get on the side of the small businesses, the people going out, working hard, creating jobs for other people and support them, not keeping the tax burden on them and on families as high as it is, and it's going up even to record higher levels. So this is a very disappointing budget, and the whole process has been a total shambles. We've seen companies holding off on investment because of the uncertainty, people worried about their savings, about their pension, and now we know quite how bad it is, and it's as bad as we all feared it might be.
Is this the point where the Conservative Party turn it around? I mean, I'm really thinking about the big response from your leader, from Kemi Badenoch, which, as I mentioned at the beginning, social media seemed to be fairly enamoured with that and thought it was rather positive. But of course, you know, whatever you guys say, you're in a very bad position right now, certainly in the polls. And it looks as if Reform UK might form the next government. So is this the start of the return of the Tories?
Yeah, I believe it is. We've set out a clear position on the economy. We're the only party talking about living within our means, controlling spending and supporting business. Even some of the other parties, you'd expect the Lib Dems to, but some of the other parties, Reform, they're backing lifting the two-child cap. They're backing increased welfare spending. I don't think that's the right choice. All of the opinion polls show that the public support that cap remaining in place because it's fair for families on benefits to make the same decisions and choices as families who aren't on benefits about the size of their families. That's a point of fairness. So I think as a party we are making the argument. You saw Kemi did that very strongly in the House today, and we'll keep doing that across the country, talking to people and talking to businesses about how we can create an economy and an environment where they can actually succeed. So yeah, that's what the Conservative Party is about. It's great to have refreshing, clear Conservative principles once again to the fore.
James, on that point, thank you, sir. Great to have you with us. James Wilde, MP, Shadow Exchequer Secretary to the Treasury, accompanied by, we think that was Steve Bray. He's the fellow that wears the hat who didn't like Brexit very much and went around the place hounding lots of MPs. We think that was him. But there were some farmers earlier honking their horns, and that was great to hear. We referenced there quite a lot about Kemi Badenoch. Seems to have had a bit of a moment in the House of Commons this afternoon in response to the budget. Really came into her own, many suggesting she was, quote, on fire, not literally, in the House of Commons. Let's have another listen to her really telling it like it is and her assessment on Rachel Reeves.
It's a total humiliation, Madam Deputy Speaker. Last year, she put up taxes by £40 billion, the biggest tax rate in British history. She promised that she wouldn't be back for more. She swore it was a one-off. She told everyone that from now on, it would be stability and she would pay for everything with growth. Today, she has broken every single one of those promises. If she had any decency, she would resign. At the last budget, she said she was proud to be the country's first ever female Chancellor. After this budget, she will go down as the country's worst ever Chancellor.
There it is. You might expect that from the leader of the opposition. Was that enough for you to convince you? Oh, I know, I went to Reform, but actually the Tories are back and Kemi's got it all sorted, so I will vote blue after all. Is that what you're thinking? 03